You know what? I'll be the first one to admit it. I'm greedy, I'm hungry, I have an insatiable appetite for Mario Kart content, but can you blame me? After playing what, for all intents and purposes, has been pretty much the exact same game for over a decade now, watching Nintendo finally show off new concepts, features, and mechanics for a new home console Mario Kart game has me kinda like this. Yeah, you read the title. In this video, I'm going to go over everything I want to see in Mario Kart World. Now, some of this stuff we've already made videos on, so I'll briefly touch on those points here, but some of this stuff is super important to me, and also stuff that no one's really talking about, which makes me a little bit worried that maybe we won't get it in this game. You guys will see what I mean once we get there, but there's a ton that I want to see in this game, so let's just jump right into it. Hey guys, it's Thomas from the Switch Shop, and this is everything we need in Mario Kart World, hopefully to be shown off in that direct coming up. Alright, first things first, we absolutely have to briefly touch on a purpose for free roam mode. Now, in my opinion, that purpose is going to be a story mode, featuring an open mission-based campaign that we already covered in a video that just came out. So we'll link that at the end of this video and put it in the description as well if you want to check it out, because it goes over exactly what this new free roam mode needs to be great. Let me be clear, this game will already likely be really good, but if Nintendo built this entire interconnected open world, yet all the free roam mode actually has to offer is finding coins and flipping P switches, I think that would be one of the most frustrating, biggest missed opportunities in Nintendo's history. Seriously, it quite literally has the perfect backdrop for a campaign. All the heavy lifting for a story mode, like creating the world, has already been done. Now that we have an entire open world to explore, adding in the sauce such as basic quests, challenges, some boss fights, and wrap it up in a few cutscenes, boom. Again, we went way more in depth in a separate video, so I'm just gonna end it here, but I couldn't make a video talking about what I want to see without talking about my #1 by far most requested feature, which is an actual story mode or just more stuff to do in the free roam. Next, I want to talk about the character roster, and I know what you're thinking. Why in the world would we need even more characters? We already know of at least 50 to choose from, and this is going to sound really dumb, but I cannot help but look at this roster and be confused. I'm certainly impressed by how big this roster is, but still confused. That's because over half of the roster here is just a mishmash of random enemies from Mario's other games. Seriously, a snowman, a bee, a coin coffer? Who gave this man a license? Now, I will admit, it's really cool you could be a cow. Trust me, this will probably be my main. But if you had told me that there would be 20 brand new characters added to this game, yet nearly every single one would just be random road hazard enemies from previous tracks, I would not believe you. Again, being able to drive as a Conqueror is awesome, but with obvious missing characters like Diddy Kong, Petey Piranha, Funky Kong, King Bob-omb, I do wonder if this was the right move. I'm not worried at all, because I am like 100% sure that there's gotta be some big characters they haven't shown us yet, and may even keep secret until the game is out, but the fact that we've already seen so many characters does have me a little bit worried for if these new substantial characters will actually, well, be substantial and not like Cow 2 or something, I don't know. We did a whole video on predicting the final roster and also a video on 100 characters we'd like to see in the next Mario Kart game before we even knew it was called Mario Kart World. But to sum those up, there are so many characters deserving to be in this game over like the swooper bat. Let's keep it a buck here. Professor Egad, King K. Rool, not even to mention Mario's more recent adventures, like anything from Super Mario Wonder or God forbid Odyssey. Those are the characters that people actually want. And so while it is truly amazing that we are getting so many raw characters, I can't lie, I will be a little disappointed if we don't get like actual notable additions to the roster. Okay. Half of the reason I wanted to make this video is this next point right here. I am simultaneously over the moon excited and shaking in my boots terrified about what Nintendo is going to do for battle mode. Now, I am so genuinely curious. Please comment down below what your experience with battle mode is. Do you guys play battle mode? Do you like it? Do you not? I have gotten a lot of comments recently whenever I talk about battle mode saying, I just kind of see it as more of like a small side thing. I don't really care about battle mode. I think a lot of people don't care about battle mode because there have been a lot of bad battle modes recently.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
However, with 24 racers, we have an opportunity for greatness, Nintendo. We also have a giant open world. You're telling me they couldn't fit just a couple of like battle mode arenas throughout this open world further away from the tracks? There is so much they could do here. But we also haven't seen anything even remotely hinting towards battle mode. And again, Nintendo has kind of been failing with battle mode recently. It was the main selling point for 8 Deluxe before the booster course passed, but that's only because they didn't even do do it in 8. Yes, I know you could technically play battle mode on racetracks. If they do that again for Mario Kart World, I would just rather them not include it at all. That was a disgrace. All right, screw it. I'm gonna get really deep into battle mode. So here is my dream scenario for what the actual best battle mode could possibly be for Mario Kart World. I hinted at this before, but say that there are battle mode arenas around the open world. There are tons of spots on the world map which we see that don't really have a ton going on. Sure, there might be quests to go find in the story mode, but Nintendo could definitely find 5 or so like grassy plains in this giant open world that could just get bulldozed and turned into a battle mode arena. These battle mode arenas though will have to be a lot bigger simply because we now have 24 racers. Yes, this is what makes me so excited for battle mode. In my opinion, when done right, battle mode can be just as fun and potentially even surpass the main Mario Kart racing in terms of that local multiplayer couch co-op fun action. With a 24 player battle mode, we could get entirely new modes of fun, aka the actual modes you get to play in battle mode, because it's not always just your standard balloon battle. In fact, 8 Deluxe actually did this really well with 5 different battle modes, those being standard balloon battle, coin runners, bob-omb blast, shine thief, and a brand new mode, renegade roundup. First things first, balloon battle has to return. However, with 24 racers, it might be required to separate people into teams of 6. I know a lot of people enjoy the free-for-all nature of balloon battle, and I would hope that's still included as an option, but again, with 24 racers, it's highly likely that the most fun way to play balloon battle would be in teams of 6, or maybe even 6 teams of 4, I don't know. It just seems like a 24 player free-for-all might be a bit too insane, but hey, maybe that's just the point. Maybe battle mode is just, insane in this game. Coin runners, I've never really been a huge fan of. I can take it or leave it. Bob-omb blast was fun, but is really just a side mode of balloon battle. It's just balloon battle, except you can hold up to 10 bob-ombs, but those are the only items. Shine thief, despite being one of my favorite modes in 8 Deluxe, definitely should not return. It's basically kill the carrier, where one person is holding the shine and everyone else is trying to steal it. I don't think that would work with 24 racers, but you know what would? Renegade Roundup with double the size teams would be so fun. The game mode was already really fun in 8 Deluxe in its original 6v6 format, but bumping that up to 12v12, I think would just increase the mayhem slider to the perfect degree. Jumping back to Shine Thief though, while I don't think that should return, I think we'll get a couple of new battle modes if we end up getting battle mode. Simply because, again, we have never had an option to do 24 player battle mode before, and one of those modes I think could be really fun. Picture this, it's Shine Thief, except it's 6v6v6v6, so 4 different teams. Each team has their own shine that spawns on their quadrant of the map. You want to go collect the other team's shine, or, capture their flag. It's capture the flag. I don't need to explain this to you. That would be really sick though. Let me know down in the comments below if you have other ideas for interesting battle modes. You could even put like a battle royale, yes, no, I'm serious, spin on it. Like imagine your typical balloon battle, except items are super limited and everyone only has one balloon, yet somehow the map gets smaller and smaller, forcing everyone to the center of the battle course. Battle mode could be so sick with 24 racers, and I'm just hoping that they give us any sign of life, because as of right now, it looks like Nintendo is being so ambitious with every aspect of this game, except we haven't seen a lick of battle mode, and it makes me really worried, because I remember being like a naive little 12-year-old stoked for battle mode in Mario Kart 8, only to get the game on launch day and be like, what the hell is this? Alright, next up I'm going to talk about something I don't actually really want to see in this Mario Kart Direct coming up. However, it is something I still eventually probably will want for the game, and that is DLC. Mario Kart 8 has some of the most expansive DLC for any Nintendo game, and it's not particularly close. There were 2 DLC packs for the original Wii U version of the game that added 6 new characters, 8 vehicles, and 16 tracks in the game. The best tracks in the game, in my opinion. Then the deluxe version for Switch added 6 new characters, 3 new vehicles, and battle mode. We got a couple free updates for the deluxe version, including a different costume for Link with Breath of the Wild motorcycles, and then the Booster Course Pass, which added 48 new tracks and 8 new characters. Now, this was all over the course of 9 years, so I don't think it's crazy to say that I think Nintendo should basically do it all again. Okay, hear me out. I don't expect this game to get as many updates as Mario Kart 8 did. Of course I don't. Looking at Mario Kart 8 from when it launched to what we have with 8 Deluxe now is completely unrecognizable. Anyone new to the Nintendo scene doesn't really even know this stuff, but like 200cc was not even in the game at launch. That was added as a free update. Nintendo should basically do what they did with the Booster Course Pass, because obviously the Booster Course Pass was incredibly successful. Imagine every Nintendo Direct for the next couple of years having new content for the game, new characters, new tracks, and new vehicles. But there's one thing that is an absolute must. If I'm paying $80 for this game, I expect to be spoiled with DLC for at least a few years, and it needs to be free. I mean, come on, Nintendo. But I already hear you saying, how could they add DLC onto an already complete map? Well, a brand new island for new and old courses. Yeah, the inherent problem with DLC for this game is that all the courses take place on one giant world map, and I doubt Nintendo is randomly just going to be like, oh, this section of the world map, we're completely changing it in this update to plop down a brand new course. However, we could get a new island or something, man. Or if they don't want to have to make new open world sections for the DLC, straight up Nintendo just add like those cloud launchers that shoot you up into the sky, or the warp boxes from 3D World that take you to a new track. I understand the whole design ethos of the game is that all the tracks are in one open, big connected world. I understand that also then slowly rolling out new tracks in the form of DLC kind of complicates things there. I don't care. If we're paying $80 for this game, and its predecessor had by far the best DLC support Nintendo has ever offered, I'll be a little disappointed if this game doesn't get updates. I really hope they don't let the open world nature of the game deter them from adding in new tracks. Because again, people will not care if they're not placed in the open world. It might feel a little disjarring or whatever, but again, no one is going to complain about the cohesion of the open world Mario Kart game if they're getting new tracks, especially if they're for free. It's a Mario game. I can drive into a pipe and be teleported to like a random void that houses a floating track. I don't care. I don't necessarily want to learn about this DLC in the direct. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if we did, I guess, but there's still so much to learn about this game that I just don't really think we need to talk about DLC before it's even out. However, it is something I would like to see in the game, again, because I think Mario Kart 8 had some of the best DLC Nintendo's ever done. The original DLC tracks on the Wii U are some of the best tracks in the game, and the Booster Course Pass remains probably the best deal Nintendo's ever offered, in my opinion, straight up doubling the course count to an unfathomable 96 tracks. Alright, last thing I want to talk about in terms of what I really want to see in Mario Kart World are some new items, man. I know we've seen some new items, like the Kamek item, which like spawns random enemies, or the Golden Shell, which is a shell that spawns coins. There's also some items that aren't entirely new, they're coming from Tour, but are new to home console Mario Kart, or like, you know, real Mario Kart that you can play with other people. So yeah, I'm not expecting a ton here, but I would like to see 1 or 2 new items that are, well, actually new. The Kamek item is a great example. That is new, except it looks kind of weird in how it functions. Like, it doesn't really look like a normal item. It kind of looks like it more so just changes the track. This is a bad example, but I'm thinking something new like the potted piranha plant from Mario Kart 8. Like, that was an entirely new item. It wasn't a very good item, but it was entirely new. There was nothing else really like it. Most Mario Kart games, in fact, have a new item like that. I guess this game's version of that could be the Kamek thing, but again, that seems to be more of like a item that impacts the track itself rather than an item you use. I don't know, I just still think it would be sick to see like an elephant flower item from Mario Wonder, or something like Cappy, or maybe even the Rocket Flower from Mario Odyssey. I don't know, I'd just like to see a new item beyond the new items we've already seen, because obviously I have to play the game to truly formulate my opinions on these new items, but it does feel a little bit underwhelming, especially considering everything else in this game looks so ridiculously insane. What we've seen of the new items looks a little tame in comparison. Again, besides the Kamek item, which changes up the track, but again, that is kind of like, it's track dependent. There's just not a ton of strategy you can use there. Everything else we've seen is kind of boring. Golden Shell, cool concept, I don't really care. The tour items, whatever. The food items just apparently switch your costume and give you like a mushroom boost. I don't know, get creative, Nintendo. With that all out of the way, that is everything I can think of that I really want to see in Mario Kart World that we either haven't seen confirmed already, or stuff that we have seen a little bit of, but I just wanted to talk about. If you couldn't tell, I really wanted to talk about battle mode, and I'm glad this video gave me an opportunity to do that. So let me know your thoughts on battle mode and everything else I talked about in this video down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, then hit the subscribe button. Seriously, it does help out a lot. And with that Mario Kart World Direct coming up in a couple of days, I really can't think of a better time to subscribe, because I promise you guys we'll be hitting you with the best Mario Kart content we can make. We're all super excited for this game and can't wait to see more. With that out of the way, I'm Thomas from the Switch Stop signing off. Peace.